So I believe I've been fairly vocal about how I feel about how great gaming is as a medium and why I truthfully believe it will be such an ephemeral piece of media for years to come. But I've also been very not so great about how my challenges I've faced with being in this medium. This medium is not cheap. I don't remember how many games I have, but I am aware when I was younger, maybe around 15, I had around like 70 games that I counted. I sold a lot of them, but I have rebought a lot of them again, and my collection has definitely doubled since then. These games, they cost maybe around like $30 to $60 a piece. And when you have hundreds and hundreds of games, that adds up very quickly. It's a medium that eats away at your paycheck really quickly if you're not too careful with your funds. And that is why over the last couple years I've been very careful with where I place my daughter. Where I place my daughter. Bro, is this an announcement? Who's the mother? I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm very careful with where I place my dollar. Because any gamer who's been gaming for, any amount of time can definitely tell you that sometimes these developers can be very, very, very slimy. And that's why I really want to take today and kind of talk about this feeling that I have. I haven't been excited for a game since my early teens, and the last game I can truthfully tell you I was excited for was Final Fantasy 15. And excuse me, I know I'm usually the guy who's very good with dates and all that, but I'm going to be honest. For this video, I'm just trying to chill, so I'm not looking anything up. I believe Final Fantasy 15 came out in either 2015 or 2016. I remember that was the rollout for that game was absolutely magical. I was either in my first year of high school or last year of middle school, and I remember the homies and I, this wasn't planned. It just so happened. We go to lunch and every dude just brought out his Game Informer and started looking at photos of Final Fantasy 15, talking about the screenshots, being all like, yo, this game's about to be the best thing ever. Like, son, this game is good. Da, 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 da. And despite how everybody feels about the game, at the end of the day, I'm just all like, dude, the rollout, the trailers, the platinum demo releasing where we got to play as young Noctis and we finally got to feel what a live action Final Fantasy game felt like, man. It was crazy. They also released a movie, which I definitely didn't pirate and paid full price for, and they had the anime and they aired it on Crunchyroll. Oh my god, back when I used to watch Crunchyroll, back when I used to watch anime, what am I talking about? It was literally the most wonderful rollout for a game that I've ever been a part of. And that same type of just giddiness of looking up trailers, looking at developer interviews and stuff like that I had with games like Final Fantasy 15, that I had with games like Grand Theft Auto 5, that I had with games like I can't really think of any other games that I had that type of energy for. Watch Dogs, maybe. I feel that for Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now, Resident Evil 4, the original, is not a game that I look at too highly. I'm sorry. Shoot me dead. Gasp all you want. I played the game. I thought it was fun. I did not think it was like the best game ever or something along those lines. But I was all like, if Capcom remakes it, yo, definitely I will probably view this game now in the same way people who played the OG when it first came out see it. Because to me, I can play the original Resident Evil 4 and imagine, playing that game back in 2004, 2005 when it first released, and it being one of the first survival horror, over-the-shoulder, third-person action games, and being like, oh my god, there are quick-time events and all this stuff. But it's all like, I can't. I can't just, act like I haven't played The Last of Us recently. I didn't play games like Gears of War growing up. I can't act like I've never played games that were heavily inspired by Resident Evil 4, but honestly kind of, play better because they had the blueprint and they expanded upon it. I understand full well that 1878, The Horse in Motion was the first motion picture ever made. Yet, I'm going to be honest, mate, I have more interest in watching the newest Spider-Man No Way Home rather than that old movie, despite the fact that every movie that came out afterwards was heavily inspired by that first motion picture. You understand what I'm saying? I understand that Resident Evil 4 was the original blueprint of so many games that we have today, but I've played so many games that have been inspired by Resident Evil 4 that, in my opinion, are better. I felt so scared. It's very scary to be like, hey, everybody likes this one thing and tails it as the best thing ever made, while I played it and I thought it was just fun. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was terrible. Excuse me. I didn't think it was bad, but I also didn't think it was the best thing ever made. That's all I'm trying to say. But with the advancement of just every single gaming generation that's come afterwards, which I've talked about extensively. Hold on a second. I have to change locations here in a second. But I mean, with the technological advancements that we've seen with gaming with every single generation since the 6th generation of consoles, I believe that is the 7th generation is the PlayStation 3. So yes, the 6th generation is the PlayStation 2. Since the 6th generation, I mean, we're on the Jesus Christ, lads. Have you even thought about it? We're on the 9th generation now. We are one generation away from being 10 gens into gaming. That is quite literally insane. The 6th generation would have been the generation that I came into gaming with. I believe. No, I actually did. I played. Handhelds are kind of strange, Handhelds are in this strange sort of era. So maybe technically I was kind of between 5th and 6th. I'm just going to say officially I was in the 6th generation because I grew up with the original Xbox and PlayStation 2, but I did play the N64/Game Boy Color growing up. It doesn't matter. And that what makes me so excited for Resi 4. I mean, the blueprint's already there. I really enjoy Resi 4. I think the one thing that I'm gonna miss about Resi 4 and the remake is unfortunately I really do enjoy tank controls, especially the way that it was implemented into Resi 4. I really love the having the over the shoulder camera angle while also still keeping the tank control kind of archaic feel of the game. It made it such a unique experience compared to modern day over the shoulder shooters. But one can only dream. Maybe somebody will mod in tank controls onto the PC version someday. But I mean, Capcom with that game, how long ago was 2005? Jesus Christ, I don't even want to do the math. 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh my god, no, bitch. No, please tell me I did that math wrong. Hold on, what the fuck? There's no way. Alright, just did the math. 2005 was 18 years ago. Absolutely grand. Okay, anyways. What was I talking about? Oh, I think I was talking about, 18 years. It's been 18 years since Capcom, pioneered this new type of game, and we've seen a whole entire genre spawn off of this one game. And it's just all like, I'm just thinking about just how are they going to enhance this? how are they going to update this to modern technology? And just the thought of it blows my mind right now. And I'm recording this a couple minutes after the Capcom showcase that they just had, where they showcased the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw demo. I'm downloading it right now into my PlayStation 4 as we speak. And I've been looking at a lot of videos from the developers as they talk about the game. And there's one guy, I don't know his name. I'm very sorry. I'm very ignorant to Capcom and just gaming as a whole nowadays. I told you I'm very much not into the know of the nitty gritty. Like back in the day when I was 2013, when I was like 12, I used to be able to tell you the developers' names, the PR names, who's the producer, who's the developer, and all this. I don't know anymore. But it's this one guy, and he was the guy when Resident Evil 2 Remake was first announced. He was all like, I know you guys have been asking for this, and we remade Resident Evil, the original. You want us to remake Resident Evil 2? And he takes off his shirt, and it reveals a shirt under it, and it says, we do it. It's that guy right there. I love him to death. That guy is my nigga. So, but I don't know who he is. I assume he is a producer of some sort. But that guy, I've watched interviews with him from Game Informer, and with another developer, and he just seems so in love with this job and so in love with this series, and that is just so beautiful to see developers, care about their games, man. Because I feel like it's kind of that thing of why road rage is so rampant, because when we're inside of a car, we don't see the person for who they are. We see just a vehicle going 60 miles down the road, and when they make a mistake, they're an idiot. They have no clue what they're doing. Versus if you take time to realize, oh, this is a person. A person's operating this. A person who had their own upbringing, their own trials and tribulations, and all that. Because I have a friend in the game development sphere. Actually, she worked on Resident Evil 2, and she actually worked on a, should I say this? No, I'm not going to say it. It doesn't matter. But it's so easy for people to go, yo, what's wrong with Capcom when they make a mistake? Or what's wrong with Atlas or Naughty Dog or whatever? These are legitimate. These are people. These are people, and these are probably like passion projects for them and all this stuff. And it's so cool to see, it was just so cute to see him, just geek out with the other producer or other developer next to him, talking about the game, having fun with the interview and all that. I just love seeing that. The gaming world is it's such a new place, and I'm not gonna go into, yo, we came from Pong. Yo, I made a whole video on that. Y'all can go watch that if you. But it's like, yo, you lot, we came from Pong, you lot. We came from Pong, you lot. In Capcom is definitely becoming one of my. I hate doing this. I hate when I say this because it always ends in disaster. Whenever I say a developer is my favorite, it always results in them going through a stint of not making the best choices. I think the first developer I can think of that I ever... Capcom was a developer that I said was my favorite, but this was back when I was younger, and that would have been when I was first playing through the Dead Rising series. But I didn't really play any other Capcom games after that until just recently. But I remember I said my favorite developer was Naughty Dog. And even though I don't think Naughty Dog's bad by any means, they're definitely not my favorite anymore. And then later on, I said Square Enix was my favorite. And Square Enix has had a very rough patch these last couple years. And I haven't really enjoyed their games as much. And Atlas was definitely a developer that I said was my favorite as well. And I don't really know what's going on with them. I haven't really played too many of their newer games. I really only stay around their older titles, the original releases of their older titles, because I do know people aren't having the best time with the re-releases of their games, which kind of sucks to see, because I've definitely noticed that once a developer has an up or has a very lucrative year, it always comes with a consequence where they feel like they're on the top of the world and they can do no wrong, and anything that they put out, everybody's going to eat it up because they all love them. Nintendo. And I've seen that with specifically Sony. I mean, Sony is it's working for them, but it kind of sucks to see them go through this patch of kind of turning their backs on their Japanese roots, saying, hey, yo, the Japanese developers, even though y'all are the ones that kind of got us off our backs when we first came up, y'all were the ones that were helping us out, we're going to only focus on American titles and kind of snub our original people. But Capcom definitely does have a history of that, which is interesting, because I've seen developers go through, even Xbox had this. They were on top of the world with the Xbox 360, and then at the end of that generation, PlayStation came out and just like, nope, we're winning this. Not really. Nintendo won that generation, but PlayStation had a definite underdog story of just coming up and conquering Xbox somehow at the end of that generation. But we saw the ego that Microsoft had with the 360, and they tried to pull that weird shit with the Xbox One when that originally came out, and everybody was like, yeah, we don't really fuck with y'all like that, nigga. Oh, Jesus Christ, okay. We don't really mess with y'all like that, bro. And then Sony got a big head with the PlayStation 4, and now they're doing some weird stuff with the PlayStation 5. But Capcom had that ego back in 2012. I remember distinctly. I shouldn't say ego, because it's not really. I don't think. No, absolutely they did. Because I remember there was this game. I don't remember what it was. Was it Street Fighter? It was some game that they had where they had DLC on the disc before the game released, but you had to pay for it. like imagine, right? There's usually a game comes out and then they make content for you to buy after the game comes out. But imagine a company they release the game on the same day the DLC is on the disc already. Like, you could just unlock it and have it for free, but they want you to pay for features that are already on the disc. And this is just one of the many problems that Capcom had back in the day. For the life of me, I don't remember what game it was. My instinct is telling me Street Fighter, but I don't think it was Street Fighter. But they've definitely have had a just grandiose comeback in the public gaming discourse that I don't think people really remember that patch of Capcom. Whenever people talk about Capcom being kind of down bad, they only really speak about Resident Evil 6. But trust me, Capcom, from what I remember specifically, around that early 2010s era, they were doing some grimy stuff. But to see them now be like before, I'm so thirsty for Resident Evil content, right? That I'm just up on Reddit. I'm up on that's kind of it. I don't really like using social media that much, but YouTube, Reddit, and I'm on Reddit, and I go to the RE subreddit, right? And I see this link, so I click it, and it leads me to this ARG. I'm just all, and it's this ARG of what is it? Baby Eagle has been compromised, and Baby Eagle is the code name for Ashley Graham, who's the president's daughter, and she's been kidnapped from about to go to her university, about to go to one of her classes, and she's kidnapped. And in this ARG, you are tasked with finding out information about who her kidnappers are. You can skip ahead if you don't want any. Actually, no, I won't spoil it. I will not spoil it. But I'm just all like, yo, who thinks about doing this? It was literally a whole ARG that kind of leads up before the events of what happens in RE4, and we get to kind of like be in the CIA, their point of view, and see the events that kind of lead up until the start of Resi 4. I'm just all like, yo, that is so cool. And then Capcom in the showcase, right? They also showcase this thing where they're doing this little like online initiative of Capcom Town. I don't really know what it is, but it reminds me so much of growing up in the 2000s, like sites like Cartoon Network or Disney. They used to have, I'm sure they still do, but you know, I'm an adult now, so I don't really browse Disney or Nickelodeon sites like that. Actually, no, not like that at all, nigga. But dude, stop saying, okay, anyways. But if you grew up in like the 2000s or whatever, like, you know, bro, like they used to have sites like that all the time for kids. And I love using re.net and seeing my little statistics and all that on how long I've been playing an RE game for, or like doing challenges. And I love when developers care. And I genuinely, with all of my heart, think that Capcom they love their games. And I love when developers love their games, and it just makes the experience so much better. Anyways, it's been Justice, lads. I am downloading the RE4 Chainsaw demo right now. Hopefully it's done. I'm going to go play it, and maybe I'll have a video out to you guys about my thoughts about it. Who knows? Anyways, it's been Justice. Thanks for watching. Peace.